There's a lot of malice and internet issues with people not protecting themselves with things like viruses and malware, getting identity theft. We're seeing companies that aren't safeguarding their data good enough, even to this day. I mean, it's been growing for a while now, but it just seems to be kind of unchecked field where these bad actors are getting away with things, and they just keep doing it because they know they can get away with it. And the odd thing about it is that they tend to be kind of like honest criminals in some senses. If you ever had viruses or ransomware, where they hold your data and say, we're going to change it unless you give us so much Bitcoin.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Grow IT podcast. One of your hosts here, Trey King. And today we are very excited to have our guest, Mr. Scott Pauli from PTech. And today we'll be diving into his story a bit, then as well as what his company does and some engaging insights into the technology industry. So make sure you stick around for this one. But without further ado, Scott, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Scott, if you don't mind, just please to our listeners, if you kindly can introduce yourself and just tell a quick snippet of your story.
Okay. My name is Scott, as you had mentioned. The company is PTech, or Pauli Technologies. Been around for about 10 years now in business. I've got a long background of military experience starting way back when, and being on.
Wow.
My claim to fame of some of the computer stuff is that my age, I tend to grow up as things changed. So when I went into the Marine Corps, there was no internet. It was actually ARPANET, and I was on ARPANET. I was using that daily for sending records back and forth to Kansas City from Japan, from all over the world, and made hops at the time. It was quite different to the way that the internet worked, or DARPANET. So from there, I mean, it was administrative type position. Went on to other things, staying here in California, where I'm at now in Pasadena. That ranged from working at a computer department store as customer service, which was always kind of fun, listening to customer complaints. And then I went on, I kind of switched my field, and I went to construction management. Did that for about 8 years, loved it, but my calling came back to me where I'm at right now, starting my own business. But at the beginning of my business, I started out as a franchise, but I ventured out onto my own about 2 years later, and here I am 8 years after that, in Pasadena, California with PTech.
Oh, excellent. Tell me, Scott, based on your expertise, right? What would you say are the current market trends that you're currently aware of in the IT space? What ways are the wind blowing these days? What have you been noticing?
Well, there's a lot of malice and internet issues with people not protecting themselves with things like viruses and malware, getting identity theft. We're seeing companies that aren't safeguarding their data good enough, even to this day. I mean, it's been growing for a while now. But it just seems to be kind of unchecked field where these bad actors are getting away with things, and they just keep doing it because they know they can get away with it. And the odd thing about it is that they tend to be kind of like honest criminals in some senses. If you ever had viruses or ransomware, they hold your data and say, we're going to change it unless you give us so much Bitcoin. Well,
Yeah.
every time I've seen people give out the money to get their data back, they've got their data back. So it's kind of strange in that sense. They keep up their side of it. I'm not recommending to do it that way, but that's what I've seen in the recent past and going into the future.
And now, I think you would agree with me that, this here specifically in the US has been quite interesting from a market point of view. What's your take on that? What would you say is, the current market sentiment like?
Well, I think a lot of it had to do with COVID and around the world, how that changed the economy. We didn't see, I don't believe, such a bad after rift from, kind of shutting everything down. We kind of held up our economy pretty well. I think we're still doing okay. Um, I don't want to go anywhere into the political realm to say what, that might bring us, but
Got it.
it could be good, it could be bad. As far as the IT world, I think we are still in a good place for that. There's like a lot of outsourcing, but still it seems like the majority of the brains and the people that, have been the forefront of IT have been in the United States. And I think it seems to keep that way for hopefully a little while.
Yeah. The what would you then say as, from your business point of view, would be the most, the significant value that BTech brings to the other markets? What would you say would be that those value points that make you guys successful?
Well, I tend to be a local kind of guy. I by word of mouth. I work with my customers very closely. Customers don't usually want you to deal with their data unless they know you personally. So I've kind of entrenched myself into like chambers of commerce and different local things that uh, have helped my company propel and do well by word of mouth and by the people that know me and reputation based. And I've kept up with the recent trends and market directions of IT. And
Yeah.
constantly, I'm trying new things and trying new products to see if they're superior to the ones that I'm currently using. So I think that contributes to the success of my company, being on top of things as things change.
Got it. If you don't mind, just to in a quick snippet, just tell us exactly what it is that your company does.
We provide managed services, which means basically for companies, we will help them with their data in a managed way. So, as
Okay.
like a virtual CIO in a sense, where we are the external but still part of the company branching arm that takes care of the management of the IT, whether that's purchase and acquisition, working with Microsoft products, working with different vendors, administrating the data, administrating customer accounts or employee accounts for customers, that kind of thing. So that's basically, in a nutshell, what we do for the most part.
Oh, excellent. And then, just to ask you from a business founder point of view, right? In your opinion, what type of mindset would you say is needed to be a successful founder of a business?
Good one. That's a tough one. I
Yeah.
would definitely say
And
if
you
you're
can
going to have
be honest.
employees, if you're going to have employees, keep the mindset that they'll never be in the same image as you. So, we all will tend to like look at the different situations of you could do better this way, that way, whatever, because
Yeah.
that's the way we do it. What you should really do is focus on what the skills are of your employees and help hone them and support them and be very open to that idea. And if it doesn't work in the direction that you were originally intending them to, well, just, change and adjust to it. That's one thing. The other thing I would say is be open to change. If you can't, especially in this market, if you can't be open to change, you're going to sink. You
Yeah.
just have to use that as the back of your hand, like, no, that's going to happen, and and embrace it.
I agree. Especially what you meant regarding the employees of a business. I've had some experience myself when it comes to that, and let me tell you, the what you mentioned there was definitely quite profound. Are there maybe like some important things that you would say that you've learned? I mean, you've mentioned now earlier you actually you've got quite a story in the sense of where you came from up until where you are now, right? Are there some important things you've learned that you don't mind sharing, like a golden nugget or two, if you don't mind?
One of the first companies that I helped at the very beginning opening the PTech was a large company that had a server racked with viruses.
Yeah.
And it basically brought the whole thing to a halt. I mean, they couldn't operate. It's still today one of my best stories because we came in and focus, razor sharp focus, made sure we went right for the problem and got them up in a matter of like a couple days, and they were very happy with our work. So I mean, that's the kind of thing that we do, and I was, it excited me because I knew that I could, handle it and get through it, even though I didn't. The prior IT people that had kind of like disavowed and like I couldn't even reach them to get into the server. So I literally had to break into the server and the password and everything and get into it. That was a little bit of a challenge, but I did it. It's like, okay, I know how to do these things now, and
Yeah.
that was the first project we had. So that was one of my golden nuggets I love to share. Always a good a project that I tackle it the right way and you can succeed.
You can succeed through it. Oh, lovely. But Scott, I need to thank you for coming on today, man. This was fun. And then
Thank you.
tell me, Scott, where can the listeners, where can we get hold of you?
My website's polytechnologies.com. That's Pauli technologies with an S at the end.com. You can get a hold of me that way, or info@polytechnologies.com is always easy to send an email to, or our number 626-658-7556.
Lovely. Well, there you have it, guys. Scott, thank you so much for coming on. This was some excellent insight into your business, what you do. All the best to you guys, and I truly believe that you guys will just grow stronger and stronger.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on today. I really appreciate it.
Take care. Bye now.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.